There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bom dia, Munson here with the Expats Portugal. Good morning, Portugal live stream. How was your weekend? To the bane, to you, as you can see, from 9 o'clock this morning. Gilda will be here for all those migration matters, because migration matters, everybody. And, of course, to give her commentary on the Portuguese election results, which we'll do in this next half hour as well. So how are you? How's your weekend been? I've got a few photos to share with you this morning. I've made a few adjustments in the studio. I hope everything's sounding and looking okay. I think my bum might look big in this, so to speak, this new arrangement. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think anyway. Let's have a look at some of those photos then from the weekend. I've got a few for you, a little photo safari to kick off the week with. And what a week it's going to be. Gilda, of course, at 9 today. Michael Avabuk will be here from Serenity tomorrow, and we'll be talking to a wonderful chap by the name of Diogo, who will be talking about this Portuguese lessons around wine. This is something that I know James is keen to talk about this morning, stepping up the Portuguese or learning the language and doing more time each day. This might help as well for some people at Shoes and Booze. And we'll be talking to Diogo tomorrow about this idea. But what a great combo, learning the lingo whilst drinking the wine of the country. Can't be bad. That's in Lisbon at the moment. Maybe they'll do an online version soon. And thank you very much to Donna for the introduction to Diogo as well. Great to get a phone call from you, Diogo. We'll be talking to you tomorrow. On Wednesday, Heronius Maximus, Michael Heron will be here. And of course, I'm sure he'll have a thing or two to say about the impact of the election results, which we'll talk about this morning as well, of course. But Michael will be here with a little more detailed analysis on Wednesday. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesday and looking at the impact of the election on Portuguese people, on expats, whether you're already here or whether you're planning to be here, what the prognosis might be. Political prognosis on Wednesday with Michael Heron. And on Thursday, Wiley will be here in the first of her residencies. She's been really impressing people as a buyer's agent over Cascais Way. And she'll be talking generally about buying property in Portugal. She has expertise and a really good approach. I love her approach over there in Cascais. So we'll be talking to her on Thursday. And rounding off the week this week on Friday, we'll have Jenny B. Feel Good Friday, whoa, with Jenny B. with an update on the Rainbow Guardians project. So that's how the week's looking. Should we have a quick look at the weather? Because it was chilly this morning. Then we'll go to a few photos and then we'll look at those election results. Thank you, Prof, for the slides you sent in this morning. I was trying to make head and tail of it last night on Twitter, but it looks like PS have the majority that Antonio Costa was hoping for. And I'll be very, very pleased to hear your insight, your analysis of the results as you understand them so far. But first, let's go and have a look at some weather, shall we? Because it was chilly this morning when I was out with the hounds, and I will show you a picture of the sunrise this morning from that trip out with the dogs this morning. But let's have a look at the official weather, the Expats Portugal weather, and see if there's some. Well, actually, when I went to open the bin on the way back this morning, it crackled. Some of the condensation from yesterday's rather nice day, I think, was around the dumpster. And as I opened it, it crackled. And I thought, my goodness, it is cold this morning. So a crisp and fresh morning. Let's have a look at these temperatures and the weather outlook for the rest of the week. Lisbon currently at 10 and 50. So 10 degrees centigrade, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and 3 sunny days to come with highs of around 18, and that's 64 in the Fahrenheit. Then a little bit cloudy from Thursday to Saturday, and then a lovely looking Sunday, lovely looking Sunday to come. In Porto, similarly 3 days, but chillier in Porto, 5, starting at 5, ending at 14 degrees, or the high at 14 degrees today. 3 cloudy days, Thursday through to Saturday. And a sunny Sunday in prospect in Porto Coimbra. 2 degrees. Look at that. 2 degrees, the low, 19 the high. And what that incredible central Portugal differential with your Hawaiian garland on later on today, but starting off with 3 overcoats at 2 degrees. And a cloudy Thursday and Friday, but a nice looking weekend with temperatures of 18 and 19 respectively. Faro, 8 degrees the low today, 18 the high. And similar sort of weather outlook for the rest of the week. Cloudy towards the end of the week, but and not recouped by a sunny weekend, not as yet anyway. Scrolling through there, as you can see for yourself, Aveiro starting 4 degrees at the moment, starting the day at 4 with a high of 15. Beja, low of 5, high of 19. Similar looking week all over the country, actually. Slightly cloudy towards the end of the week. And then some sunny redemption at the weekend as well. Braga, 0 degrees currently, rising to 17. Castelo Branco, 5 degrees, rising to 17. Let's see if there's any negative temperatures. Guarda tends to not let us down, or Bragança. But no, it's quite... but -2. For the minus temperatures, where you still need to watch out for your seedlings, that'll be Porto Alegre, -2 currently, rising to 17 now, a whopping 19 degrees centigrade differential. Gotta love that about Portugal. Chilly morning and out there in your Hawaiian shirt for lunch. 1 degree at the moment in Guarda, rising to 10, and Bragança, 3 degrees at the moment, rising to 14. And in the Azores, 15 degrees and broken clouds at the moment. 17 the high today, a rainy day, and actually quite a dry week, I think, or dry few days coming up, and then a rainy weekend. And Madeira, 3 degrees the low, already 7 though, with broken clouds and rising to 8 degrees today. Sunny day tomorrow in Madeira, and a cloudy and rainy day, cloudy and rainy rest of the week. There you go. That's the weather. How's it looking where you are? Let's have a look at some of our pictures this morning. And this is my sunset this morning. How about this for you? Out with the dogs this morning, looking across the Pampas Plains there, and the sun just showing itself this morning. And actually, let me just, because I might have been talking in silence. You know how sometimes I go off on the first, 8 minutes so far, and not a single word can be heard. I think everyone's okay and can hear me. I'm not getting those capital letters messages or the messages via WhatsApp. Carl, turn your mic on. No, we're good. That's fantastic. And we'll come to those messages in just a moment. But pictures to show you then. That's the rising sun this morning. And I'd love to see your pictures from the weekend. I'll show you a few of mine in just a moment, including this one. Ladybugs. Oh, I'll come back to that. Ladybugs. San Martino de Porto. This was Friday, actually. Went and had an expat guilty pleasure. And do you know what? I think it's the first expat-y, sort of British expat meal I've had here for as long as I can remember. And fish and chips was mentioned by some of the gang over this way. And thank you very much, Cindy, for that idea. And the fish and chips was very good, but I actually had a full English breakfast. Michael Heron, come on, let's have a meeting, so-called. Let's call it a meeting, and let's have a full English breakfast in San Martino de Porto. Thank you to Waves for the fish and chips and the full English, which was very good. My kids really enjoyed it. Haven't had food like this for ages. Bizarrely, I didn't think that would happen. But anyway, I guess when you're little and you grow up on certain foods, when you taste them again, you make a quite a visceral connection, and that's what happened certainly for our eldest. But before lunch on the beach, plenty of ladybirds. They tend to arrive, don't they, in a I don't know what the collective noun is for ladybugs. Somebody else will be able to tell me that. But there are loads of them on the beach as well. I'm not used to seeing them on the beach, but the kids were delighted by the ladybugs on the beach. And then on Saturday, look, I had a couple. I took my flask of tea and my Good Morning Portugal mug to Gralha Beach, where I like to take the dogs and start the day. And that was fun. Look at the light there. It was really superb. I had a great time there. And bit of gardening over the weekend. Operation Laranja is in full progress now. I've made 2 raised beds now and salvaged this suitcase from near the dumpster. And we're growing strawberries in it. How about that? So a few pickies from my weekend. We'll come back to this one. This is looking through the window of a Chinese loja where a bee was stuck that Mrs. M went in and rescued. And now I have a mug with this inscription upon it. Do you know what that means, though? Tudo vale a pena quando a alma não é pequena. A good one from Fernando Pessoa that you might want to translate if you're getting to grips with the language. A couple of pics in from Anna. down there in the south of the country. Look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Anna. Very quiet down in the Algarve at the moment. Look at all those shells on the beach. What does she have to say for herself? Let me read the message that came with that. Bon dia, some cloudy skies Saturday evening and an amazing view. Absolutely right. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to, a 21st birthday cake. Got some birthday greetings as well. I think it was Bart's. Was it Bart's 21st? So that's to share with you a little bit later on. And Prof Eusebio, thank you very much. His political analysis so far, big victory for Costa. He increased his vote by nearly 6%, got an overall majority in the Assembly. But rise of Chega to third party in Portugal is worrying, as I'm sure you're not going to be the only one saying that, Prof. So there's a long lingering look at the the shell-strewn Algarvian beach and the cloudy one there. It looks lovely, looks very atmospheric, cloudy day, but that sun bursting through and wanting to bathe the Algarve beach. Yes, I mentioned, didn't I, that Serenity, Michael Averbrook of Serenity will be here tomorrow. The theme of which will be, you have Portuguese health insurance, now what? So you've got to do that, haven't you, for your D7 visa, for sure, and have your insurance. And a lot of people take out insurance as a bit of a precaution, not just a health precaution, but a peace of mind precaution. But what to do with it? And that's the deeper dive we'll be taking with Michael Averbrook from Serenity tomorrow. You've got your insurance, now what? How to manage that, how to make sure you get some value from it. And I don't mean in a bad way. Don't get ill just to get value from your health insurance. But there might be aspects of it that you don't understand yourself, because it's a Portuguese policy, that Serenity might be able to help you with, like routine health maintenance and prevention, some nice osteopathic or chiropractic adjustment, a massage maybe, those sorts of things, and to see if you've got routine dental cover on there as well. And thank you very much. I think these are from late last week, but these are from Andy, who's out and about in Perreira. Look at this. I'm not sure that irrigation system is in service at the moment, but what a lovely scene. And I'd like to say nice ass, but I think they're horses, aren't they? Young ponies there in the Perreira region. And vines the old way. Modern viticulture would have long horizontal wires. Here's the old way are they canna sticks, cut from growth elsewhere and turned into tripods or similar for growing grapes on. That's the old way from the Perreira region. And look at those. They look like they're burnt old vines, don't they? But give that 3 months and they will look a picture. I promise you, not much to look at right now, but isn't this delightful, isn't it? Thank you very much, Andy. And I think he said something like, Portugal, what's not to love? Lovely walk there. Plantation, I think. He's walking close to the old vines and the old irrigation system there. Presumably that's on tap now. Those horses are drinking from the tap. Those pampered ponies, not pooches, those pampered ponies having water on tap and not having it from the old well there. That looks like it might have been the sort of well that was powered by a pony or a donkey, that gets, they walk around the outside of that to pump the water. Not sure, but it looks like that sort of thing. Maybe you can tell me. So let's go to your comments now. Oh no, one more thing to show you. Who's this from our community? These have been wonderful. Now I could get myself into some trouble by saying, obviously going to a fancy dress party with an integral, like a mullet or ponytail type baseball cap and a stick-on tash. But you know what? That could actually be a real moustache and a real ponytail. And I could have got myself in some trouble with this person. Who is that from our community? Just leave that there for a moment. And as we have a look at some of the comments this morning, 15 minutes to go until the visa update with Gilda and some of her input about the election, and we'll talk about that as well. We'll go to the Portugal Resident and the Portugal News to see what their headlines are about the election. Pretty similar, I think, we'll discover to the Prof's analysis earlier on, rise of Chega and Antonio Costa getting the majority he wanted. Okay, I think we can take the mullet and moustache combo off the screen at the moment. Bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz Segunda. I have a request. Please, no spoilers for the NFL playoff games. Pass me by, James. I won't be able to spoil that for you. I plan to watch the replays later today. And look at this. What's this? 0.00439 miles per hour. Slug Jing is that? I'm not sure what that means, but the banana slug land speed record. Maybe that's where James has been this weekend, at the at the World Land Speed Slug Trials this weekend. And now that my residency is squared away, it's time to get serious about my language study. I'm committing to a minimum of 40 minutes a day, 10 before the show and a minimum of 30 after. Good man. And I have some things for you to translate from my local market on the building outside the market. We have this beautiful inscription, which I have translated, but I won't give the game away yet. And it's Cariad un Corsal Keve. I hope I've got the pronunciation right there, but that's a beautiful little phrase. What does it mean, James? That one for you there, my friend. Oh, I see we've got George Carlins and Stephen Wrights to come as well. That's great. So, yeah, 10 before the show, 30 after. Good luck with that. Who's with me, he asked. Hooah! Learning the Portuguese. And we can do it, he says. You can, definitely. And he hasn't even had his coffee yet, so goodness knows what will happen after he's had a couple of coffees this morning. Moaz is here. Bon dia, Carly Gumpers and James Holly. Joao F is here. Enjoyed the conversation with you over the weekend. Joao, thank you for that. And Bon dia Gumpers from Thunder as well. Tudo bem? And yeah, Moaz is up for that, 40 minutes a day. Well done, everybody. Keep us informed of your progress. If you start a little groups are good as well, aren't they? Do let us know, and we'll get people together, learning together. Did anyone take advantage of, which I think runs out today, the Amir Ejmerish offer, the big bundle with a big discount on it? You can do that if you received a mailing from us, the Expats Portugal mailing. You'll see that, and if you want that big discount, let me know, and I'll send you the link for that as well. Driving license gate, day 272, 9 months without a license, longer than it takes to make a human. Maybe that's why they're busy over at the IMT there. They're busy making humans and not busy making driving licenses. Don't know, but we will keep Thunder will keep you informed. And Bubble Off Centre really enjoyed the podcast. Not everyone did, but we did, didn't we? Thunder, or Duck, as I call him on the show, Ratmiduk. It was a great first go, I thought, on Friday. So after the show on a Friday, you can hear myself and Thunder with our Bubble Off Centre podcast. Big issues with a big grin is how we like to approach it. It didn't quite work out like that for everybody, but I think we went there, and we'll go there again on Friday. From Thunder, Stephen Wright. He's our very own Papa Secco, isn't he? The dry daddy of humour, of American humour. And we must get some Portuguese humour on the screen here. I don't know if anybody wants to take care of that. And that could be part of your learning Portuguese, couldn't it? Is researching Portuguese comedians and comics, and maybe come up with some one-liners from Portuguese comedians. Does anybody want to take that on? Stephen Wright quote of the day, though: if you think nobody cares about you, try missing a couple of payments. I think we all possibly know what that feels like from sometimes in our lives, and maybe even at the moment. So there's a way of there's a way of feeling wanted, and maybe that's an underlying strategy. I think I've done that in the past. I've at least felt wanted by phone companies. Slipping behind in tougher times, and you know that somebody loves you because they keep writing to you. George Carlin quote of the day: some people have no idea what they're doing, and a lot of them are really good at it. Yeah, there you go. There's the Peter Principle in action. And I've had some thoughts about the Peter Principle. That's a really good analysis, isn't it, of how it can be in the world. Some people have no idea what they're doing, and a lot of them are really good at it. And what do you do when you get promoted beyond your competency? I mean, you want the job and you want the money, don't you? So I guess you just got to look like you are good at doing it, even if you're not. And what occurred to me about that is that, the job doesn't change, so the person has to, and therein lies the invitation for personal development for all of us at times in our. I mean, we've all held that grasp, that baton, haven't we? Been promoted beyond our ability, and if the job won't change, then we have to, or we cause a lot of trouble in the corporate pipeline. I have an online doctor's appointment this morning. I'll have to miss the beginning of the show. Well, you could do it with us, couldn't you? And you have the technology now, I think, to do your consultation live on air with us and show everybody how it's done. Unless, of course, there's some probing to be done online, which might be inappropriate at this time of day. It would be nice if we sprinkle a few Portuguese words in our conversations. Well, go on then, Moaz, lead the way. And straight into it, João F. Também, então, Comecemos por falar em português. Come on then, let's do it. I do that as much as possible. I use as much Portuguese as I know without using Google, hence Portunglish. Which is a bit, that might be Portuglish, might be like Andy's very own book that might come out with Portuglish phrases in. Is anyone working on that yet, as well as the erotic novel James Holly? Okay, then let us start by talking. Okay, come on then. It's all very good talking about it. Let's do it. Bon dia, Gumpers. James, I won't spoil any NFL results for you. Good morning to you, OLP. Come on. We still have 6 minutes. What? Are these all comments from before the show? My goodness. Muito obrigado at Oregonians loving Portugal. So a lot of chat this morning then before we've even started. We've got some catching up to do. We haven't even looked at the election. We'll do that with Gilda for sure. Bon dia, todos. Happy New Week. Won't time much. Listening in on my ride to work on my bike. Wow. Can multitask, but this would be outside my scope. Well, you're doing pretty well so far. A few words then here and there. Umas poucas palavras aqui e ali. Very good, Raul, for setting the right example for us. Easier for you, of course. Bon dia, alegria a todos. From Anna, whose pictures we showed earlier on. Ian Turner's here, Coach Turner. Oi, Gumpers. Tudo bem, interesting election result should please the doc. Somewhat jealous. Why would it please the doc? Didn't his left block get a trouncing? Somewhat jealous. Have a great one. A centre-left victory then. Let's bring on that pic, shall we, of the results then. Let's talk about them. And we'll come back to your comments in just a moment. Bringing this onto the screen now. I don't know how well you can see this. Oh, that's not too bad, is it? Portuguese National Parliament election and the results there. Preliminary results, seats allocated in all national electoral districts. 30th of January? That's not right, is it? Unless, the seats were allocated. I don't know. I don't understand that bit. To me, that should say the 31st because that's when the results would have been announced. But I might have got that wrong. Look at this. Oh, I see. That's Bloco Esquerda, left block. I'm sure that's what the doc supports or who the doc supports. Wouldn't have thought he'd be that impressed with that result. But PS, the incumbents, I suppose, Antonio Costa's party, 117 seats. Up on 108 last time, and 71 seats for PSD, Rui Rio's party, the centre-right party there, aren't they? And then Chega at 12 seats in the parliament. That's a big change, isn't it, from one seat last time? And a big drop. I don't think the doc's going to be at all pleased. Down from 19 seats to 5. And the Communist Party, what happened there? Is that the CDU? I'm used to seeing that as PCP. This is throwing me a little bit, but as you can see, and typical European politics, it's all happening in the centre, isn't it? It's not proportional representation, or is it? I don't know how well this is. This PR? I beg your pardon. I don't know this. I don't know the system well enough to make that call, but. The huge majority is clearly with the PS government. And what sort of input are parties with 12 seats like Chega likely to have? I'm going to leave that to those in the know and with keener political minds than me. But clearly a big lead, big majority for PS there. And Antonio Costa getting the majority that he was hoping for and suggested he might get before the election. And that a lot of people didn't think he would get, but no one knew, did they? Nobody knew until. Actually, I was thinking with other elections, the exit polls have been terribly wrong, haven't they? Not so, I think, in Portugal. I think it was quite accurate, the exit polls that were coming in late last night. So good morning to you, Coach Turner. Rebel Mama's here as well. Glad PS pulled ahead of PSD, but Chega shouldn't be there at all. They are fascist, pure and simple. BE did okay, but lost a bit in our area there. Has anyone translated this? Tudo vale a pena quando alma não é pequena. Não é pequena. It's a great phrase, perhaps a phrase for these times, and people pushing themselves out there and standing up for what they believe in. Trevor Jones, morning, Trevor. Nice to see you and Shannon here. Hola, bom dia from Lisboa. Can listen in real time now. Now you're here having a coffee and a nata and a nata. That's quite a good name for an expats group, isn't it? Natter and Nata, meet up and have a custard tart together. Jackie Grant's here as well. Good morning, Jackie. How are you? Great to see you here. Hola, bon dia. And seen you recently. in the park over there. And Jean's here as well. Bon dia todos as well. And Digo, first comment, I think. Watch the election results. Think the left bloc punished for forcing election, risking a right-wing led government. Shager worrying for Digo as well. And Lonnie's here. As well. Oh, back from the US. Excellent, Lonnie. Looking forward to speaking to you soon. Bon dia todos. Back from the US and happy to be home. Look at that. Happy to be home. And James saying, I also encourage our Portuguese family members to correct our errors if they are so inclined. And Elra is here too this morning. Not long now then until Gilda joins us for a bit of a visa and migration update. Welcome back, Lonnie, from the OLP. Wish we were in Portugal. And bon dia todos from Cindy B, who's in now. I'm with you, so another one. Cindy, well done. 40 minutes of Portuguese every day. PS says, well, some analysis from one of our Portuguese friends then. PS had a win at the cost of a disastrous result from Left Bloc and also a bad one for PCP, the Communist Party. CDS disappeared from Parliament, giving place to the Liberal Initiative, that is, isn't it? And Shager, more extreme sorts of parties there. And who else is in this morning? Love those haikus. Talking about, I think that's the Fernando Pessoa lines that you're thinking of there. And the haikus. Is that a Portuguese haiku, I wonder? For as little as I know Portuguese yet, your comment is all Portuguese to me. Of course it is. And João F. Moore and Shager can be growing into a dangerous dimension. I think Democratic Party shouldn't cut contact with Shager, though. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Otherwise, you can't control them. That sounds like good advice there. Carl, that is a beautiful ladybug. Thank you for. You wouldn't say it like that, would you, Michelle? But I can show you that beautiful ladybug again. Amazing what you can do with a mobile phone, isn't it? There you go. There's the beautiful ladybug on the hand of one of my children. I think that might have been the before picture, before it produced some of that nice orange liquid that ladybugs do on children's hands. Michelle, good morning to you. Suze is here. Good morning, Suze. May I sell my EU registered car in Portugal? If so, are there forms sellers would be obliged to provide, or just sell it and let the buyer take care of it? No, I think you can sell it, but whoever owns it needs to have it matriculated for use in Portugal, i.e. pay the tax and have it properly registered in Portugal after a certain time. And I can't, forgive me, I don't remember the amount of time that is, but it's a few months. And so I think you can sell it because it's just like selling any goods, but it might not be a very attractive purchase for somebody because after a few months, they're going to have to get it matriculated and registered here. Suze, good morning to you. Thank you for being here this morning. Bee's here as well. I want to express my thanks to one of the members on here who told me last week how and where to find contact information on Seth. I finally got my appointment. Well done, you. You'll have to tell the rest of us how you did that. That's incredible. And it was a good night for Costa, says the prof. Prof's here as well. Look, no longer reliant on anyone to govern. So I wonder what that'll mean. Hi, Gilda and Carl. Do you help in securing rentals for our 32W? I think that's a little bit of a typo at the end there. But yes, let's talk a little bit with Gilda about Casa Portuguesa and how that works. The property finding service that she is promoting. Everything is worthwhile when the soul is not too small. So there you go. That is the translation of the beautiful Fernando Pessoa lines there, which I've got them somewhere here, haven't I? I've already shown it to you once this morning, haven't I? Have I not? Well, that's strange. Why is that not showing? Didn't I have that before on a picture and now it's disappeared? That is really bizarre. So let me see if I can find that now because I did have it on my no, that's so weird. I'm going to have to download that. But yes, that's the correct pronunciation. Everything is worthwhile when the soul is not too small. So puff up your soul. And it's a little bit like my other translation job for you this morning. Look, on the side of the market, and let me just get that comment out of the way. These are connected, aren't they? So let's make our souls nice and big hearts as well, because courage is a heart that sees. There you go. That's on the side of, and I wonder who that's depicting in the picture. There may be some backstory here. Caridad, courage, a heart that can see. I hope I have that correct. I will be, and again, like James, I do invite correction on any of my Portuguese, but literal translation written by Fernando Pessoa. Yeah, and that's a good point you make there, Maxine, and good morning to you. Literal translation, and that's the thing with poetry, isn't it? Is to work with the nuances therein. of what that might mean. But I think to me, it means that as long as you put your heart and soul into it, anything is worthwhile. Life is worth living when you let your soul come forth. Is that right? I don't know if Gilda will be able to tell us because she's here now. Good morning to you, Gilda Pereira of Assessoria Migrant. How's it going?
Hello, good morning.
And are you well? Tudo bem?
More or less.
Mais ou menos. Mais
Mais
ou
ou
menos.
menos. Mais
Okay.
ou menos.
And which films have you and your family been watching?
We all got COVID this weekend, so
Oh no, that's why you're not so well. So are you all
yeah.
stuck at home and isolating and all the rest of it?
Yes.
And what is you and your family's experience of it, Gilda? How is it? And thank you for being here this morning, despite that.
Yeah. It's like everyone.
Really, what, you're all wandering the house like around the house like zombies. You can make your own zombie movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. I am making light of it, but I am sorry to hear that. And so you're obviously none of you are feeling well. But it sounds like it might be at the Omicron end of it, like a bad flu. Is that where you're at?
Yes, maybe headaches and coughing and throat. How do you say throat?
A sore throat. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. You need a
and
reposado.
and yeah, and some pain in the body. Yeah,
Some pain in the body. Okay. Aches and pains. Okay. Well, get well soon. I
thank you.
wish you well. And are you happy to be here chatting for the next however long?
Yes, I almost when I woke up, I said I'm going to text Carla. I can't do this, but
Fair
then
enough.
no, but it's okay.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I think people will be booing me and saying, "Tell Gilda to take the morning off, Carl. That's outrageous. You make it so." But please, if you do, take a turn for the worse and feel this is too much, Gilda, we'll completely understand. But we also appreciate you being here and helping out with a few inquiries this morning, if you so wish.
Okay, okay.
All
If I
right.
think that's enough, I will let you know.
Very good. And we would like to talk to you about the election result because we were talking about it, of course, over the last couple of weeks. And, of course, Casa Portuguesa. So, first of all, then, what do you make of the election result? Here it is on the screen there. Big win for Antonio Costa and the PS party. A big collapse for Left Bloc and a big rise for Chega. What do you make of it?
You know, when you asked me what did I thought it's going to be, I thought it's going to remain the same. But it was even more surprising that it was better for PS Party because obviously they punished the left side because they
Yeah.
put the country in this situation.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, they
So that's
didn't approve the budget, so they punish them for putting the country in this situation and going through the elections and and we are going through a pandemic situation and having to stop everything to
yes.
going through this again. So
Uh,
I knew that they were going to punish them and that the left parties were going to suffer with these elections, but I never guessed that they were going to have the majority. That was a surprise to me.
Really, really. So that analysis is widely held. Is that the left wouldn't support the budget previously, or the represents. I mean, mainly we're talking about left bloc, aren't we? Bloco Esquerda,
Yeah.
and so they forced an election and didn't approve the budget, thinking that it might be good for them to do that, but it's massively backfired on them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Chega, the Chega party, which seems to be gaining ground, obviously to the delight of people who support Chega, but a worry for others. What do you make of that and their rising power here in Portugal? And what might people, expats living here and people wanting to move here, what can we make of that?
I cannot understand. I only see a man shouting. I don't see more people.
Right.
I don't understand what is the program of that party, because apparently it only has 9 pages. So I
Right.
don't understand.
Okay.
But some people believe in the words of him. He's very convinced on what he says. And apparently some people believe in what he says. But if you show the other, and yesterday you could see other people talking um, from his party, and they were a disaster. They couldn't even talk good Portuguese. So
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah.
So, without being an apologist for extreme parties, it would seem this phenomenon is about people who don't feel represented in politics, though, right? Is that an analysis of this? Is people there are people who feel angry and underrepresented, and then they'll leap on extremist parties like this. That's certainly my understanding of it, or part of it anyway, back in the UK. And I think it's the same
Yes,
is true in America.
it is. It is. It's people that are against the system.
Yeah, yeah, and then they get turned against other people in their frustration, and others, you might say, take advantage of this phenomenon. So, I
Yes,
mean,
exactly.
my two penneth for what it's worth on that is that we have to make the political system more attractive in that sense. I think this is a product of our political systems around the world, isn't it? Is that you get this phenomenon of being able to stir up angry people who are disenfranchised and angry, or who just have terrible views about other people. And this is a lot in the long term. This is about education, isn't it? And creating a system where people can feel heard and not resort to such sort of emotional outbursts in politics. It's like one big emotional outburst in many ways, isn't it? As you said,
Yes,
a man shouting.
but in these elections, more people went to vote than in the previous ones.
Oh, really? Okay, so there
Yeah,
wasn't election fatigue. That's an interesting point you make then, that people wanted to be heard this time.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. And would you say that's the same for the more extreme parties as it was for the mainstream parties, or was it just the extreme parties that benefited from extra votes and more people coming out to vote?
No, I think it was because people were a little bit revolted because of what happened.
Yeah,
People didn't want to go through this election. And
yeah,
once they were put in this situation, they
uh-huh.
wanted to show that they were not happy about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Well, thank you so far for that. I'm sure people, as well as asking about migration and visas this morning, may want to ask you about the
And
political.
one good thing is that uh, this is not going to have an impact. Well, at least an immediate impact in migration. They are not going to change the laws in migration.
Well,
This is a
that
good
should
thing.
have been my first question, shouldn't it? And you can say that because what, there was nothing in the manifestos, or you think PS, I mean, because they created the laws we currently have, they will just uphold what they've
Yeah,
brought into being. Okay, all right.
I know
Well,
there
that's
are going to be some changes in the tech visa, but it's going to be for good.
yes, of course.
Um, so so in that sense, I'm glad that this is going to. We know it's not perfect, but it could be worse, because
Yeah,
when they change everything, then
yes,
it's a mess. So
yes.
this is a mess that we already know what we are dealing with.
Do you know that could have been your one and only comment about politics, and we'd have got it. It's like, it's a mess, but it's at least the mess we know, and it could be worse. I mean, isn't it sad that is where we've got to so often with political situations? Anyway, I read that Catarina Martins charged that Shaker Party was unconstitutional, and then I never heard anything more on that. Is that something that might hold weight? So, I suppose that's continuing, isn't it? That whether they are constitutional or unconstitutional and being challenged.
I think that there's no discussion anymore. If they were, the president would say so, because he's the one who decides who's constitutional and not. So if
Okay.
he didn't say anything, is because it's constitutional.
Great. Okay, well, we'll find out. And who was the man? I mean, I was trying to find out um, about what was going on in the elections last night. I saw a man taking his clothes off in the Parliament building and waving various flags. Who is he? What happened there? Why was there a man wandering around the Parliament building with just his underpants and socks on, I think? And nobody else seemed especially bothered. There were people just going. "Oh." It's like it's an old Joao again. Is just like getting his kit off in the Parliament. Who was he?
I didn't see that.
You didn't? Okay. I don't know if the prof or Joao F might be able to help us with that. There was a man. If you look on Twitter, there was, and I don't think it was CGI. I think there was genuinely. He might be a Madeiran politician who was upset about the relationship between Madeira and Portugal, which caused him to remove his clothing and wave various extreme flags. I think he had swastikas and possibly an IS flag in there as well. It's quite bizarre. But the Portuguese politicians were very unbothered by it, as though it's what he normally does when he arrives. Okay, I might send you a link to that separately. Be prepared. Okay. We will talk about. Oh, did you get my picture as well from last week of the property picture I sent you?
I did. Amazing.
Very good, isn't it? So we'll have to share. I'll find that now. Would you mind telling everyone about Casa Portuguesa? Because I think that answers one of the first questions that came through this morning from OLP. Can anyone help us find somewhere to live? Although I think this is probably a rental they're looking for short term. I'm not sure. Can you clear that up for us, OLP? But do tell us all about Casa Portuguesa, if you will, please, Gilda.
Yes, Casa Portuguesa is a company that it was born to help our clients from to rental and buy properties in Portugal, but of course they don't need to be our clients. Now we have many clients that don't make the visas with us, or that don't need to make visas at all, and even that are Portuguese living abroad and just want to buy a house without being here. So they choose the links, they choose the place. We help with our links. We go, we take the pictures, we send the videos. We deal with the prop. How do you say, with the landlords, or with the if with the prop with the
The agent.
owners.
Yeah.
No,
Owners.
with the agents or with the owners. And then we can help to make the deeds or the contracts.
Yeah.
Or we can wait for you to come and take care of everything in person. Or if you are not possible to come in person, we can do everything at distance, but we advise you to come in person before make the purchase.
Yes.
At least the purchase, not the agreements. But the purchase is something, it's a huge investment, so we advise you to come before you sign the deed.
Okay, so basically everything to do with finding property and being your eyes and ears on this side of the water, and well, for the whole process if necessary, but your preference obviously is to have people come and do the final check for themselves if they're buying and spending a lot of money, but you can help them to a huge degree and offer a lot of support this side over here on the ground in Portugal. So there's a link. You go to our business directory and look at Casa Portuguesa, house hunting, services of real estate, prospecting, business formalities, post-sale services, management and maintenance, services of rehabilitation and construction maintenance. So all the after stuff as well, yeah? All the development of property management, cost of living in Portugal, services, cost of living analysis and tax consulting. So you can help people understand what sort of costs they'll be up against with the utilities. You can help them connect the utilities, pretty much everything to do with the home sweet home, as it says on the screen there.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like at Hey, it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, one-stop shop for property, Casa Portuguesa, and that's the best email address there. Then contato at casaportuguesa.com.pt. There is that correct with .com and .pt? We'll make
Yes,
sure.
it is.
Yeah,
It
okay,
is
it is.
correct.
All right. Okay, and I'm going to copy that, as you can see me doing right now, and stick that in the chat so that if people want to take advantage of that, including the OLP who was asking earlier on. I think that answers your question there. Let's see what else people are saying this morning and see who's checking in. Jim, you know Jim, of course, Jim and Mandy, bon dia, todos from sunny Porto. And I got the most brilliant message. I wonder if I can play it for you now from Jim yesterday. I've got this thing called San Martino de Porto syndrome, and I think Jim's got it.
You are so right about falling in love with each place that you visit, period.
Period.
Of course, this is not stressful at all.
There was another extra bit there, but Jim basically saying, yes, he's gone down with it. He's gone down with San Martino de Porto syndrome. That's where I first had it, but he's got Porto syndrome. Gone to Porto, having been in Lisboa, and I think on the Silver Coast, and in Coimbra recently, and now his heart is with Porto. Don't worry, Jim, that will change again the next place you go to. Deborah Davies, good morning to you, Jim and Mandy. I made some land art in Azuia, Sintra, took a photo, and it's been accepted into an art gallery in the UK. I hope I can get it exhibited here in Portugal someday. Oh, what a lovely thing. I mean, we did talk to you, Deborah, didn't we, about your lovely art on the show once. I love your work. And I would love to see it here in Portugal. I wonder if there's anyone who can help us with that in the community. Maybe pop a little message on the forum about art spaces in Portugal. But isn't that great? You made some land art in Sintra, been accepted for a UK gallery. Let's see what we can do to help you get that into a Portuguese gallery as well. Slug Crossing, not a Chinese. I don't know. Maybe that was like a slug chow mein or something like that. Slug jing. It's crossing, of course. Thank you. Sorry for not being smart enough to see that first time round. Thinking in our search, we should be close to Lisbon with good transit. Well, if you're close to Lisbon, you pretty much will be enjoying good transit, and get yourself one of those cards. The travel card is great value, isn't it, Gilda? Where you can use the ferries, the trains, the metros, and the buses and the trams. Really good value. So I think you're going to be fine there. This weekend in Portuguese history, number 1, 2015, the Portuguese cabinet approves rules which allow descendants of Jews expelled from Portugal more than 500 years ago to claim citizenship. Thank you very much, Prof, for that. Excellent weekend in Portuguese history. That's number 1. I think there's more to follow. In case folks hadn't noticed, I'm a big fan of Mia and her course, so shout out for Mia. And I think we've got until the end of the day to take advantage of that big offer. Let me know if you want that. Send me a message. Carl at expatsportugal.com. Now say, look, there's one of his much used phrases. That's a good bit of Portuguese, worth knowing. Don't know. And I'll say, and bon dia Gumpus from Baddy. What's going on, Baddy, with you and your son and the missing millions? Let us know what's happened there if you want, and if there's anything we can do to help. Carl, you can't have Portuguese comedy here. You would be cancelled. Oh, is it like that?
Why?
Well, I don't know. It's Elra saying it.
No, it's not true.
That maybe some of it is a little bit politically incorrect. Portuguese humor, would that be right? Who's your favorite Portuguese comedian?
It's Bruno Nogueira. You know him?
I've heard of him.
He's not political correct.
Okay, as in he says things that offend people, or he stays out of that. He does offend people.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, that is the job of comedians, isn't it? When we talked to Tama Katan about what happened to all the musicians and who used to change society. You see what's happening now, don't you, with Neil Young and Carol. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. But anyway, the older rockers who won't share a platform with Joe Rogan, they changed the world in their time. And now there don't seem to be many society changes in music at the moment. It's down to the comedians. So I'm prepared to run that risk, Elra, for the sake of conversation and transformation. I'll put it like that for now. And we'll see if we can translate some of Bruno's work and get it on the screen. This weekend in Portuguese history too, 1945, A Bola is founded. The sports newspaper. Is that literally a cake then? A sports newspaper called a cake? Oh, no, it's a bolo. The ball, of course, not the cake.
Yes.
Ball. Whoops. The sports newspaper is the most popular newspaper among Portuguese immigrants abroad. And from 2006, it is also printed in Newark, New Jersey. Isn't that amazing? That's got to be what, after Paris, presumably New Jersey is the biggest concentration of Portuguese abroad, maybe. I'm a 15 minutes a day learning person. I repeat my class. No, he won't be turned. He will not go to 40. He's going to stay with 15 and slow and steady and long term, I think. I repeat my class later each day to try and remember words better. So it is 15 minutes twice possibly there.
What about yours, Carl?
I'll just go to the next comment. Bon dia. Portugal, feliz dia. Well, my Portuguese is good enough to know that Diogo is wishing us a happy day and a happy week, a good week to us all. To answer your question, I don't shy away from questions. I do get embarrassed about some of them, and this is one of them. I don't have a fixed, having been one of the architects of the 15 minutes a day, I am not taking that medicine myself. So I'm going to have to smarten me act. All right. Look at the look she's giving me, everybody.
What a shame.
Oh, no, come on. I can. You've made me feel about 5 years of age with just a single look and a single sentence there, Gilda. Maybe we could have a night with trivia when your guests are free for Portugal. Give us the area of trivia question in advance so we can study. Well, we do a quiz from time to time. It's a great idea, and Jerry's our man on that. João F, talking to Rebel Mama, Chega is not unconstitutional, even if Bloco Esquerda doesn't like it. Portugal is a plural country, and those Chega voters are still our fellow countrymen. And that's right. That's absolutely right. That's not to say you approve of their politics, but perhaps in the great tradition of being committed to having people say what they have to say, even if you don't like it. Thank you for that, João F. I wouldn't like us to behave like Salazar's way. So there you go. You might not like it, but they are constitutional, and they are the views and votes of fellow countrymen. We can learn a lot of things, maybe even a word of the day with pronunciation. I see my workload is building up here. As well as bright ideas, we need people to take them on, folks. It's all very well giving me jobs to do, but how about some of the community here come up with bright ideas and then run with them? Okay, nice ideas, but come on, we need volunteers as well. And I imagine we'll get the same sort of response as Gilda got when she asked me how my Portuguese is going. This weekend in Portuguese History 3, 1801, the Spanish-French ultimatum to Portugal. To close ports to English vessels, which is ignored effectively leading to Napoleon's invasion. Look at all this argy-bargy from the past there. 1801, the Spanish-French ultimatum. I think that led to an English ultimatum.
What is middle crisis? A story professor?
Well, he's a complicated man. It sounds like Shaft, doesn't it? He's a complicated man, and no one understands him but his woman. Shaft. He's not Shaft. He is, well, even though he's got a picture of that Eusebio, he is Eusebio as well. He is sometimes known as Midlife Crisis World Tour, and he is also known by me as the Prof because he shares all this excellent information with us. I don't know if he's got any other names. I think he does have one other name, which escapes me now. But he's a complicated man. And he's a great contributor to the show with work like this, as you can see on the screen.
Yes, he knows a lot of interesting facts.
He is.
But he knows a lot of history and a lot of sports.
He does, which would make him a very Portuguese in that way, right?
Yeah.
A love of history and a love of sport. And he is a Portuguese extraction, a descent. Suze, yes, the Gumper started early with comments today. Check my clock. I was reading comments this morning, Gilda, and I was reading comments that are before 9 o'clock. Before 8:30, and I was still reading them at 9 o'clock. So we're going to have to find a way of I don't know, editing. Again, you know, I'm looking for freedom of expression here, and I don't want to be censoring or missing people out, but we've got to find a better system, I think. The enthusiasm is that evident. It so is, and that's something I'm certainly not complaining about. I'm against Chega, says João, but I will always stand for the right of every Portuguese to express his opinion. Yes! I hit the table there and nearly caused the camera to fall over. But that's absolutely right. I believe she was pointing out that their platform is based on principles opposite to the Constitution. I heard this as well, Rebel Mama, especially human rights. In the US, we had Shager in Trump. Dangerous. I like how the color selected to Shager is black like their heart. Oh, my word. Says Elra there. I apologize, Moaz, for my ignorance of Portuguese politics and forgive me for this stupid question. But did the Democrats or the Republicans win? Now, this is a good question. It is a good question, isn't it? Because liberal means something very different here. Social, in the IL sense, liberal initiative, and socialist and communist, they mean something different here. So let's see if we can make the translation here, Gilda. The Republicans are the red party in America, but are right-leaning. The Democrats are the blue party, but left-leaning. And you'll see, Moaz, and no problem actually for asking this question. These questions do need to be answered. It's absolutely fine and good that you do. I'm sure other people were thinking the same, but didn't want to ask. So you'll see here that it's the other way around. Am I right, Gilda, that we have the red party, which is centre-left, and PSD is centre right in blue, which is like it is in the UK. So there is a colour reversal. In the UK and here in Portugal, centre left is red and centre right is blue. Conservative is blue in the UK, and it's the other way around in the US. Which would you concur and agree with that, Gilda?
Yes, but these are only the colors of the graphic, okay?
Oh,
because
I see. Okay. Right,
because the real colors are pink and orange.
It's not confusing at all.
The blue is actually orange, and
Okay.
the red is it's red or pink.
Red or pink. So that does work.
Yeah.
The center left is red or pink in Portugal.
Yeah.
But it's
And
not
the
blue.
center right is orange.
Okay, and in the UK that will be Liberal Democrat, the orange, being centre right. So that kind of tallies a little bit as well, although some will disagree, of course, because we're talking about politics here. But I hope that helps, Moaz. Okay, I need to run coisas para fazer Português para falar. Very good things to do and Portuguese to speak. Very good, Rebel Mama. That's exactly what Moaz was talking about. And Elra to Moaz. First lesson on Portuguese politics. Stop thinking in dual. Democrats versus Republicans. Now, I might have made a big gaffe earlier on. Is this a proportional representation system, Gilda? Does every party get some influence on account of the amount of votes it's got, or does it not work like that here in Portugal?
Yes, it works.
So it is. You get a proportional voting right based on the amount of votes you've got, and that's why. Okay, so that's why people are more worried about Shaker here, perhaps, than they might be in another type of parliament, because I think in the UK, basically, if you have the majority, you go to work and you do what you want to do. But you do have to win over the hearts and minds, do you, of the other parties here, and there are quite a few of them. So in the last parliament, that would have been more important for Antonio Costa, wouldn't it, to keep everybody on side? With his big majority now, presumably it's not that important that he keeps everybody on side because he's got a great big majority.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. Oh, thank you for that. I should have asked, says Moaz, did the Conservatives or the Progressives win, the left or the right? So centre-left won. Conservative or progressive? I mean, how progressive are PS, do you think, Gilda?
Medium.
Okay, so this is a typical outcome. Then this is I was going to use it's not mediocre. Medium is right, isn't it? Average, I suppose.
That's what I said. Medium.
Yeah, medium. Not too. Yeah, no, I was echoing. I wasn't disagreeing with you. It's nothing too outrageous, really, and nothing too progressive, I guess, with PS. But I think Antonio Costa is going to be a happy man this morning and be able to push through all the things he's been dreaming of. And this is his third term, is it not?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay. Mate, you need to wait until the end of the week to check the results. Happy new day. All the best. What? Is it not settled then as of today? Are there more results coming in, Gilda?
Yes, but it's not going to change more. We are going to, because he already got the majority, but you need to finalize counting the migrants.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Diogo. Well said. Although he's confused about where to live now, because he keeps falling in love with different places, no confusion here. Thank you and your team for getting us here. Delighted to be in the country from the whites there.
Thank you.
I agree. European parliamentary elections are totally different than the US two-party system. And thank God for that, right? But I just didn't know how to ask the question. But I hope we've answered it for you there, Moaz. Nickelback threatens to release a new album unless Spotify removes Joe Rogan. Thank you for that. More like mud-coloured. I think that's more talk about Shaker there. Happy day, bon dia. From Loy Long to us. Morning, Loy. How are you? We've not got many visa or migration questions here, have we, Gilda? And how are you feeling at the moment? I just need to check in with you with your symptoms. How are you feeling?
I'm fine.
She's good to go. Okay. Hi, Gilda. Dry January is almost over. Have you persisted with that, or have you had some medicinal Beryl?
No, I didn't.
Well done. Okay. So you're keeping going until
keep
tomorrow.
Going. Keep going.
It's only one more day, Gilda. That is worrying. How are you coping with it? I think we're going all the way back. We're going back to where you reported your positive test here and your symptoms. For Gilda and children, I really enjoyed a night at the museum. Yes, Ben Stiller, classic. And Robin Williams is in there, isn't he? Thanks for that, Michelle. Feel better soon.
Michelle.
All the love coming in for you now. Feel better soon, Gilda, from the LLP.
Thank you.
From what I understand, the Libertarians won and the Conservatives gained seats. Bit of analysis from Thunder there. Oh, Gilda, the Exton House has its first case of COVID this morning. Get well soon. So lots of love to the Extons as well. There. Hope you feel better very soon. Today is my third day of symptoms free from COVID-19. Thank God.
Yeah, everybody. It's hitting everybody.
Since the Socialist Party won, you can say that a moderate Democratic Progressives won. Thank you, Joao, for that. As I understand it, says James, which is very little at this point, it's not a win-lose system. It's a gain or lose. Well said, James, and well understood, I think, representational. And to Gilda, do you think the new elections will affect the golden visa rules? What do you reckon?
No, I think they were already affected, and the Bloc de Esquerda was the main party that wanted the changes on the golden visa. Yeah,
right.
They were demanded by Bloc de Esquerda because they claim that the prices of the houses for the Portuguese rise because of Bloc de Esquerda, because of the golden visa rules.
Yeah,
so
okay.
the changes that were made were because Bloc de Esquerda asked and demanded PS to do them. So now I think there are not going to be more changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So golden visa might become the gold standard and stay in place for some much longer without left bloc constantly demanding that it be withdrawn or changed. Okay. From Cindy, Bossod and Breve, Gilda Familia. Is that how to say get well soon? Bossod and Breve. Very nice. Thank you for that.
Good health.
Yeah. And like get well soon, would that work as?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well done, everybody, for chucking the Portuguese into the conversation this morning. Good morning, everyone from Dougie. What's your latest article in the Portugal news there, Doug? Do put the link in the comments. Hola, bom dia, Gilda. Obrigado to you and your wonderful staff. Christina and Beatrice are handling our D7. Joanna found us the most amazing apartment in Arayos. So, Joanna is a key team member then, or presumably of Casa Portuguesa that we talked about before.
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. There it is. It's working, folks. Oh, whoops. No, not at all. Only to be expected. And you need some Dr. Bayards, I think, after the show. But there you go. Casa Portuguesa, everybody. It's working. And we had a little giggle last week about the quality of sometimes of Portuguese property photographs, and I managed to find one, or did I? Yeah, here it is. Now, here's a lovely listing, Idea Lister. Val, I think, is a place in the Algarve, isn't it? VAU.
Yes.
And it's a nice studio apartment there, isn't it? You've got a nice kitchen, electric water heater by the look of it, and place to sit near the... What? On the balcony? What is that? As you can see, a beautiful view, but if your eyes are averted lower, there appears to be a crime scene, or...
I think it's a dead body, yeah.
You think it's a dead body? Okay, free with the property, perhaps, as well. I mean, that's not going to sweeten the deal exactly, is it? But there you go. Sometimes the photographs in Portugal are amusing. Let's leave it at that. Because they've taken some trouble to put a nice bowl of fruit on the table there. There's a nice bowl of oranges. You know, you get the sense that you can juice freshly squeezed orange, and you can cook your food. It's all nice and clean, and you've got a lovely view. And there's also a body on the balcony. Okay, none of that with Casa Portuguesa, folks. Back to your comments and questions. Let's see. We're mixing it up this morning, talking about politics and migration. Visa questions, very welcome. Gilda of A is here. Many Trump supporters in the US felt disenfranchised, and that is what happens with a two-party system, surely. And it was looking that way, wasn't it? I mean, people could perceive Portugal as a two-party system. Reshager gaining ground, I think it might be related to a problem in Portugal when not knowing where to leave their vote, people tend to vote on those they think would never win. Oh, that's interesting. And that, again, is not unusual, is it, around the world, as if we could call it a tactic. Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others. Well said, Jean. Thank you for the inclusion of that. Hope you're well this morning. I read somewhere a suggestion that if one doesn't like any of the choices, to submit a blank ballot to register that position. It may well be the case, but I don't think we've got any statistics on that. Fear not, Gilda. My friend had a 2-week plus 1 day COVID, but after the negative self-test, it only took 3 to 4 days to totally recover. So you got this, and get well soon there. Yatra is here with a bon dia, Carl and Gilda, for us. And Gilda, thank Andrea, please, for help with our housing too. So more satisfied customers of the Casa Portuguesa service. We're awaiting our D7 approval in Lisboa. Once approved, we have 90 days to return to the US to collect our visa. Correct. There's one for you.
Yes, correct.
Okay, there you go.
I wouldn't wait for the 90 days. I would go before, maybe 60 days.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Good advice. People who support Chega are not necessarily fascista like the heads of the party. And that's a good point to make as well, Joao. It might be frustration, mightn't it? Or it might be one policy they like. It's people who have been mistreated by the system and were victims of the corruption cases that the democratic regime wasn't able to prevent. And you can completely understand that, can't you? Thanks for the great news about immigration. As I am waiting for Kalyan to join me at Faro from Singapore. It's Raji. That's confusing. So we've got Kalyan, Raji, and Yatra there. But
yes,
good news.
I know who it is.
Okay, but good news. And in Faro, waiting for to be reunited. That's lovely. What a lovely story. Thank you for sharing that with us this morning. Raji, I think. Thunder, really? Did you read more about what Neil Young said? Tell the truth, please. He didn't expect Joe Rogan to go away or be censored. He just chooses what platform plays his music. Old man song. I mean, it'd be really nice to hear directly what Neil Young said. I mean, it occurred to me when I was out with the dogs walking this morning that why is it like this? And we don't actually get to hear anything direct from the people who say them. It all gets munched up and put through the media machinery and twisted to all manner of agendas. So we don't really know what people say first off, or what they're trying to say, do we? Politics has to provide the material needs of people, or they will seek simple solutions. Well, that's a much better way of saying what I was trying to say earlier on. Thank you, Eusebio, for that.
Exactly.
Old man, look at my life. Is that Neil Young? I wonder. Joni Mitchell was. What did I say earlier on? But Joni Mitchell, yes, has now joined Neil Young in not wanting her songs on Spotify. No, both are Canadian. I thought Canadians are much more easygoing and laid back than that, Suze. But then again, you got the truckers, haven't you? With the truck Fudo movement at the moment, quite amazing, and you're not seeing much of that on the mainstream media at the moment, I don't think, anyway. Yes, we're renting while we're checking out the beautiful country and would like help. So a rental, no problem. If you pick a few leads to give Casa Portuguesa the idea of what you want, they'll take care of the rest there. Rod Scott is here. Bon dia, sitting at Gatwick. Yay! Waiting for our flights to Lisbon. How's Gatwick looking this morning, Rod? And thank you. I hope you haven't boarded already, because that was said some time ago. Joao F. The way to prevent parties like Chega is to grow, is to solve the lack of justice. Yes, in Portugal, and keep people satisfied and giving them confidence in the system again. Yeah, that's what I was also trying to say earlier on. Duck. I would like to do it Friday, but that is super late here in Oregon, but I will try. I wonder what that is. Is that tuning into the bubble off? Does Portugal have something similar to the American Christian right, fighting for social issues like banning abortion or LGBT rights? I think that would be Yeshega, wouldn't it? That would be on those particular issues.
Actually, it was the party that disappeared last evening on the elections.
Okay.
We had the Christian party.
Oh, okay.
And they disappeared yesterday.
Disappeared what?
They didn't get enough votes.
Okay, so out the frame, they're out the picture there, Moaz.
Yeah, and it was a very historical party. They existed since we were the democracy, and they disappeared yesterday.
Yep. Okay. So they've gone as part of the political seismic shifts here in Portugal of yesterday.
It's very weird. It's very weird. It made part of our history.
Okay, so
we've
quite a
grown
historical change. So they've always been there, and then suddenly they not enough votes to even make it into the parliament.
Yes.
Yesterday. Wow. Okay. From SW, Gilda, get well, chin up. And Gilda needs no encouragement. Look at her. She's a trooper. She's not well, and she's here helping us this morning. Canadians are my lovely northern neighbours. Yeah, we did talk about this, didn't we? I think, was it on screen or not? I can't remember in the last week, but the Canadians are the hat of America, aren't they, I suppose? But does that make Mexico the trousers? I'm not sure. Big boy crypto pants, bon dia gumpers, and Gilda with your big boy crypto pants. And Jeff's here as well from the Cotswolds. Good morning to you, Jeff. Bit of perspective. Shaker's vote rose by 55,000 and may in part be due to the collapse of the CDS.
Yeah,
there.
That's the party that died
the
yesterday.
Christian party. Okay. It's funny how you put it, but it's true, isn't it? Politically, they did die yesterday. No more representation in Parliament. If you don't do politics, politics will do you. As the doc often says when he's here with us on a Wednesday. I think that's the big lesson from yesterday's election. Left bloc should have held tight, got a better budget instead of polls. Quick, let me look to see if I have Portuguese Jewish roots to guarantee citizenship. Yes, worth checking, I guess. Do you get the transit card in the States? Or when you get to Portugal? No, when you get to Portugal, well, you might be able to do it online, but it's a very simple. Our friends Colin and Hakeem were talking about how simple it was to pop into the old tram works there near the LG factory. I don't know if you have to take a passport photo with you. Worth having a few passport photos with you, actually, when you're doing bureaucratic things in Portugal. And you can just pop into that office and you can get one of those transit cards there. But you can get the cards, you can get a card from most metro stations anyway to allow you to travel. But the season ticket for a month or so, I think you have to go to particular offices. Joni Mitchell, thank you for that. The erotic novel entry, first of the day. If you don't do politics, you, Politics Jones, said to her seductively. Very good. The mystery of the 12,000 euros that appears to have been robbed from us, including the mystery of the 3 IBAN numbers provided by the estate agent and the 3 emails, is now. Oh, I was hoping for better news than that. So it's officially a police matter. Oh dear. Okay, so that's good. Good that the police are looking into it. And seriously, if there's anything you think we can do, we'll do what we can to help at this end. And is your son okay? I mean, presumably he's got cash enough and he's all right this side of things. Let us know, buddy, on that. Morning, people from Perth. Who's ahead in the elections? We've done that, Abel. PS1, convincingly. Antonio F. is here, who I suspect will have something to say about politics as well. Oh, yeah, straight to you, Abel. PS has absolute majority of the parliamentary seats there. And Moaz, I've read the process to immigrate for Sephardi Jews. It takes a long time. It might be faster with a D7 there.
Oh, yes. No, for sure. For the Sephardi Jews, it can take up to 3 years.
Okay, so there's a lot of verification, I suppose, to
Yeah.
do. Okay. Carl, are you shaming the Guduk? I'm not. I daren't look at that picture again that you sent me. It was quite disturbing, sort of thing that could keep you awake at night. Shega would happily take us back to the Salazar Estado Novo, thinks Eusebio. And I'm going to ignore the comments. Let's see if we can find some visa migration questions among the politics as well this morning. But understandably, we are talking about politics, given
Yes,
the
it's
election.
the subject of the moment.
It is indeed. Just because you ignore politics doesn't mean politics will ignore you. Pericles, mayor of Athens, circa 495 BC. What a learned lot we are here, or some of us anyway. All political parties should be called the Raving Lunatic Party. Old big boy crypto pants, not impressed there. Sarah, very Portuguese experience yesterday. Thank you for this. We do like a Portuguese experience. Minor fall on my bike on a dirt road. I don't think that's a Portuguese experience. Dropped a pannier without realizing. When I went back, this is the Portuguese experience. When I went back, some kind person had put it carefully on the wall beside the road. Beautiful. That's great. That's people. That's everyday politics in Portugal. That's how people roll here, folks. The erotic novel continued. Just because you ignore politics doesn't mean politics will ignore you. Thank you very much. It looks like Pan got their seat again. Yes, people, animals, and nature. They got one seat, didn't they? I think. I love them. I love them. Yes, in the last breath. So they just snuck in there. Carl, BE is red, PS is pink. Thank you, Elra, for that. Okay, so just a further clarification. Gilda, question from OLP. Can I count on Casa Portuguesa for getting a rental in advance? Do they have fair policies, good reviews? Thanks.
Fair policies, yes. Good reviews. It's a new company, so
we've got a couple of reviews this morning, haven't we? I think Jim and who else did we have? Shannon as well, Trevor and Shannon. I think we've got some good feedback there. But give them a shout and see. I mean, you've got the trading reputation of EI to be connected to it, which is worth something, I think. Look up the D'Hondt system used for calculating the number of seats each party gets in the assembly. Thank you for that, Pam. Good morning to you. And Lonnie, I think trying to fit the Portuguese political system into an American understanding is a very big mistake.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's true.
The diversity of parties here seems to be more inclusive and less polarizing than the US. And long may it continue. I don't know anything about the American system apart from what I see.
This is very true. This is very true. You need to change your mindset.
Yep, and he continues, a working political party is more nuanced. A working political system is more nuanced than a right party and wrong party. Well said, Lonnie. Nail on the head there, right? And from Antonio, are you speaking about Pan? It doesn't quite fit in the normal left-right idea of politics. I'd say they would fit in the center. And if I were to vote, that's who I would vote for, folks. I don't mind telling you that. Interesting to consider this as an example of Overton's window. Oh, what is Overton's window? In Portugal, PS are considered the center. So everything tends to be calibrated against that. One of two. But if PS's politics were suggested in the US, it would be seen to the left of Bernie Sanders. There you go. More interpretation. I think that is helpful there. Yes, Lonnie, it's very different. We have 24 parties in Portugal. And in the last legislature, 9 had parliamentary seats. Now only 8. So 24 parties with 8 seats. That's got to be an improvement on 2 parties, isn't it? I would say. And the get well soon. Acho melhoras, Gilda.
Thank you.
That's the way to say it, isn't it? From Sam in Oz. Hola, bon dia, Gilda. What do you think of Rafa Nadal's win? We'll never really know if he's the true champion, will we? After all of that earlier caper. But anyway, hola, bon dia, Carl and Gilda. Question about cryptocurrency. First one of the day. Will the elections have any impact on it? Did any of the parties talk about cryptocurrency? PS don't care about crypto, do they?
Well, so far, no. But I think that it will come a time that they are going to start look at it, and it's going to call their attention.
Of course. And my prediction is, like many other countries, they will introduce their own cryptocurrency. It is a way of governing and controlling it, isn't it? Both PS and PSD are moderate democratic parties which agree on Portuguese foreign policy. I think that's a reference to will it make a difference for expats and immigration policies, but stand for different methods to achieve a welfare state. However, they are the ones with realistic views about how to run the
Yes,
country.
but at the moment they don't talk about it.
Okay, so there are other things to talk about, or are they avoiding it?
They are avoiding it.
Okay,
because they know it's bringing people to the country.
Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. So just the least said best really, best strategy, and just keep things going in the current status quo, which is a good thing, really, isn't it? Greatly looking forward to the day my erotic novel entries are in Portuguese. Yes, he made his entry in Portuguese, James. There's one for you. Gilda, I am still confused. If I travel to Portugal and get a bank account and a NIF before applying for my visa, will that NIF be the same used when I get the D7 visa? All to do with the tax-free for 5 years. Go on, Gilda.
Yes, of course. Your visa. Once you take the visa, it's once you take the NIF, it's going to be the same NIF number forever. Even with the tax benefits, it's not for 5 years. It's going to be for 10 years. But it's going to be the same NIF.
Okay, but when you get your NIF, make sure it's a foreigner's one, right? Don't go straight into a national NIF, because then you'll ruin your chances, I think, of the NHR.
Yes, you need to take with a tax representative, and you should only change the address on your NIF once you become a resident in Portugal.
Okay, there you go, big boy crypto pants. I hope that helps with your confusion. The doc is here, everybody. Olá, bom dia a todos. Glad that socialists are not in a position to potentially go into a grand coalition. Angry to see fascist apologists in parliament. O Bloco did not bring the government down. Bloco did not vote against God budget to be good for them, but because socialists broke promises to SNS and re-benefits, etc. So the left bloc side of the story there from the doc. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure, next week, Doc, when we see you next Wednesday, a week on Wednesday. Yes, CDS-PP went down from 4 seats to none. Yes, as you were saying. They can have Rogan or Young, not both, Mr. Young wrote in a letter he posted on his website last week. I think maybe until it was explained to him. And then did he not change? I don't know. I'll get well soon, Gilda from Abel. I just recovered from it. You're still looking very young, and soon you will be up and running. It's not aged you at all, Gilda. Thanks for that, Abel. Shager are benefiting from anti-system vote as Trump did Johnson and Bolsonaro. There's a pattern here, isn't there? Of course there is. Ubi, bon dia todos. How are you, Ubi, this morning? Good to have you here. If you go back 500 years, I think just about everyone has Jewish roots, says Thunder. You got to prove it, though. Will they relax COVID tests on entry for vaccination? I wonder. What do you think here with PS? Do you think now that the election's over, there's going to be a relaxation of the conditions and restrictions?
Sorry.
No problem. We understand. So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen now? Because people were saying that no one in government is going to be talking about the pandemic in any serious way. It's going to be steady as you go. But now there is an opening, isn't there, to look at lifting restrictions? Do you think that's going to happen, Gilda?
I think and I hope so.
Okay, me too. Canadian or not, Neil and Joni's politics were from the generation of beatniks to hippies in folk rock anti-Vietnam War era. Both are now old now, but they still have their voices. Of course they do. And so they should. And Spotify, like YouTube, is a private company, and they choose who they want, don't they? And you have to play by their rules, and you can choose if you want to be on there or not. And there are other platforms. I mean, if Joni or Neil want to come onto the Good Morning Portugal show to talk about this, or Joe Rogan, you're very welcome. When did the free speech liberals become censorship fascists? Asked Thunder. Pretending to be asking for a friend. And yes, my son is fine, thank you. Sue's history gives us so many examples of why we have to be watchful of right-wing extremists getting into power. Any extremist, surely in power of whatever persuasion. But yeah, point taken. Portugal uses the D'Hondt method of proportional representation. So it is PR, forgive me for not knowing that earlier on, which is based on the highest average method. So what I still don't understand then is we've got the amount of votes. Sorry, that's seats, isn't it? that are in the parliament. But when it comes to a vote, it's the D'Hondt method, is it, that determines how much leverage each of those parties has in a particular vote. That's what remains a mystery to me. Okay, Jean, thank you for reminding me of Pericles there. Yes, because I thought Doc had said that. I often paraphrase Pericles, and we've heard him do that here. And oh yeah, okay. Thank you, Eusebio Prof, for that. And favours large parties by awarding them a greater percentage of seats than the percentage of votes they want. Oh my word! So PR, despite it seeming like a good system, might actually go in favour of the larger parties. It's not how it's meant to be, is it? With PR, Carl, don't forget the Greens in America. What the incredibly powerful force that is the Green Party in America. I'm joking there, Michelle, but maybe you're not. What do you think about the Wise app for doing your money exchange to put into your Portuguese bank? I'm coughing now, Gilda.
Maybe I pest you.
It can't work that way, surely. We're more than 2 meters apart. But maybe I should put a mask on. We recommend Spartan. We know and work with Spartan, and I think other people have good words to say about it, but they do as well for Wise, as you'll see here.
Yes, for my clients, they said it's good. It works well.
Okay. Wise, Spartan, good reviews for both. Whoop whoop, 10 years, and thank you, Gilda. Yeah, that's an improvement on your 5 years, wasn't it? Well done to my Green Party. I mind football team for winning the cup. Okay, so well done, Abel's team, for winning the cup as well. Bon dia from SW, from beautiful Nantes. Oh, you're stuck in Nantes, I think. You're quite liking it there. Enjoying a bottle of red, some cheese in the park, taking life slow. Porto can wait a little while longer. This is a beautiful city, so have a lovely day in Nantes. They're great, a family that truly cares for their family. I wonder, is that for A or is that for Spartan? I wonder. Yes, the Allianz Cup was across the road from us. I don't know what's going on now, but we'll see if we can make any more sense of these. Joni has had polio, and purportedly Neil Young did too. So, well, that may have influenced their views, or certainly on vaccination and medication there. What's the latest on restrictions? Well, that's a great question, Sam, isn't it? As I understand it, you're still needing appropriate testing on entry into Portugal, but that could change soon. I think there's a will across Europe, is there not? Certainly in some parts, to relax that. But I still think at the moment you need to have a negative test to arrive. Test before you leave and be negative, and show that on arrival in Portugal. But clearly, don't take my word for it. Check on your check online. Check for Portugal's restrictions and from your country of origin as well. Are you allowed out of Australia anyway? I don't think you are you? Don't think the restrictions have changed there. Joni Mitchell had polio, and purportedly Neil Young did too. Thank you, Ubi, for that. Show your love, Gumpers. Fondle that like button. I watched 5-part mini-series Holocaust from 1978 on the weekend. Meryl Streep was so young. It's on YouTube. Seems timely with political craziness going on in so many places. Thanks for that, Suze. So they have valid viewpoints on vaccines. Joe Rogan and his quackmongering gets people killed. Oh, come on, Ubi, really? Having a bit of fun, but love what Jill Stein has to say there. Oh, well, that's the Green Party in the US. Yes, and I thought you might have been. I'm shocked you both aren't wearing a mask to stop the spread. Don't you know it's contagious? Sam, stop it, because somebody will believe that, and we will be the epicenter of that fake news rumor. Shager is anti-socialist. The Constitution is committed to a socialist future, so perhaps unconstitutional in that regard from the doc. And Sam, if you're not vaccinated, you need a permit to get out of Australia. That kind of connects and arcs back to some of the earlier sentiments expressed here. We're coming up to 2 minutes to 10. I've got a few things to resolve, but I think we've kept you here longer than we should have already, Gilda. Thank you so much. A very good day to you, and get well soon. Acho melhoras.
Thank you.
And is there anything? Go on.
You get that well in Portuguese.
Ah, good. Thank you very much. There you go, everybody. Even though I'm not doing 15 or 40 minutes a day, I still get a smile from the teacher at the end of the show. Anything we missed? Anything you'd like to add before you go and lie down, Gilda?
No, thank you all for wishing me das melhoras.
Okay, well, we would do nothing less than send our love and best wishes to you and all the family, and to Mandela, of course, and wish you a speedy recovery, and look forward to speaking to you next Monday.
He's the only one that doesn't have COVID.
but he still wants to go out for a walk. So somebody's got to manage that somehow, or somebody's got to come and get him. Look, lots of love still coming in for you here, from Antonio, from Joao, from Jersey. Get better, Gilda. Excellent stuff. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Gilda. I'm going to hang around for a bit longer, but I wish you well and see you soon, Gilda. Love to all the team when you speak to them on the phone, obviously.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There she goes. Thank you for today, and thanks everyone for popping all those greetings in. I think Gilda will probably watch a little bit longer behind the scenes. He gave it to you. I'm telling you, naughty boy. Tenho uma boa segunda-feira todos. Wishing us a happy Monday there from Cindy, and Ubi can have their own opinion, Carl, in case you are sided with Joe Rogan. All right. Yeah, I was listening to Joe Rogan this morning. Not listening to him, but I saw his Instagram statement about how he talks to experts. He has an open conversation. He doesn't editorialize. He gets interesting people and talks to them. I mean, let's not be afraid of conversations, for goodness sake. And let people. I am on the side of that. I'm not necessarily on Joe Rogan's side. I mean, he could say anything at any moment, which you know. Is it about being on his side? It's not even about being on his side, is it? You know, I'm on his side as in we both like having conversations with people on podcasts, all right? And he might say something idiotic one minute and something not idiotic and something brilliantly intelligent the next minute. That's life. That's human beings. I do it all the time. And why would we fear conversations? I mean, something's gone I'm on the side of something's gone horribly wrong if we're trying to shut people up. That is, I'm not on that side. I'm not on the side of stopping people talking. Even if I don't like what they're talking about, and especially if I do like what they're talking about, obviously, because I'm a human being, I like hearing my reflection and I like being in echo chambers and so on. But come on. And fair enough, he might be peddling quackery according to some people, but he talks to some very interesting people. He talks to some people who are clearly, like by the most worldly definitions, experts in their field, and he gets them on to talk about their thing, and he does so very successfully. And I can't make the point, can I, that because it's popular that makes it a good thing? But there is something in that, is there not? There is something in his popularization of the slow. I don't know if they're edited or not, are they? I mean, presumably if they were edited, they wouldn't be 3 and 4 hours long. These are reflective and endeavoring to be intelligent conversations to understand things. I mean, surely we need more of that in the world. And people, you know, and his shouldn't be the only voice. I don't want to see him there. I love Joni Mitchell, not too fond of Neil Young, but I don't want to see Neil Young off Spotify. I'd love him to stay on Spotify if he wants to be on Spotify, and Joe Rogan. Why? You know, otherwise we're getting like the American parliamentary system, aren't we? The choice of 2 things. And then what comes after the choice of 2 things? The choice of 1 thing. And that's not a choice, folks, is it? Thank you for joining us, Gilda. Get well soon. Bom dia. Just back. We'll catch up with a cuppa. Sí, pues, complicado. And so don't fear you. I'm not I think you're winding me up, OLP. Hundreds of those wells around here. Irrigation system used to be powered mainly by cows. Okay, so the cows munching on the grass, walking around, turning the wheel around, bringing the water up. Carl, that's what I love about you, your honesty. Well, I endeavor to be authentic and tell you what I think, but I don't think you should think what I think. And I'm happy to have people on here and share people's ideas. I don't have to read out people's. That's the position of power I have, isn't it, Joao? I could see a comment and I don't like that. I'm not reading it out. I read them out, even if I don't agree with them personally, because it's not about me, is it? I mean, in some ways it is, obviously, because I have to make that call. But you know what I'm trying to do, and that is my, you know, how many of us are truly honest? I think we live in a seriously dishonest age, aren't we? We live in a culture that doesn't encourage us to be honest. It's dangerous to be honest. It's uncomfortable to be honest. And we live in a culture where we can get away with not being honest. But the first stop possibly on the way to honesty is authenticity, maybe, and being open to sharing what's going on for you. And there, that goes hand in hand with honesty. And in many ways, I think in this environment, that's really important, is people say what they need to say, and we find a way of managing that, because it's worse if they don't, I think, in the long run. Gandhi didn't have to be popular. No, but look what happened to him. It's Darwinian, isn't it? Survival of the fittest, Suze. What's that? Is that the pandemic you're talking about, or politics? Could be either, couldn't it? Well said, Carl. Thank you. Lex Friedman has interesting guests. Not familiar with that name there. And as much as I disagree and I'm horrified by the positions of neo-Nazis, I still absolutely support their right to have them and speak them, not threats. To not support it would deny me to speak mine. Yeah, well said, mate. Thank you, Elra. And if everybody is thinking the same thing, somebody isn't thinking, yes, Gene, top job with the quotes this morning. First of all, I only want to listen to music on Spotify, not podcasts. Cancel them, LLP. Agree everything. Agree, question everything. Joe's show is great, and his views put another opinion in the pot. And he's a blimming good, not antidote, but complement to the mainstream narrative. And I don't want to be a mainstream narrative basher. I understand what goes on there. These companies are owned by a few people and they've got agendas, and it all sounds the same. And isn't it great that in the last few years, other people have got access to technology so that other opinions and views can be, and you can just about hear anything you want to hear. Isn't that great that's happened? Like this. Good Morning Portugal could never have happened 20 years ago, could it? This kit that I'm using, this stuff that only costs a few €100 to be able to do this would not have been available to us, would it? And now we have for better or for worse, we have these tools in our hands every morning. Otherwise, we are fed from one side only. Well said, SW. It wasn't what Joe Rogan said. It was his guest, Dr. P. Well, there are others as well, aren't there, Duck? Joe Rogan gets them. He puts them on the tee and then whacks that ball into the public arena. Ubi, American Tea Party political system is quite simple. One party is horrible, the other is worse. Well said, Ubi. Carl, it takes courage to be honest. But what's the alternative, Joao? I love Brad Blanton and his radical honesty work. And when you consider what it costs to not be honest, it's much worse in the long run. And I think that's what our world is struggling from. And politics, just look at politics. When you look at what happens when the people aren't honest and they dress their stuff up to curry favor, to win elections and tell lies, it's not working for us, is it? So it's not easy to be honest. And I'm not saying I am. I just observe and recognize that it's harder to be honest, generally speaking, isn't it? Just rather than just schmooze over everything and say I'm fine, or just want to keep moving on and not address things that are difficult. It's not comfortable, is it, to be honest? But it's so much better when we are, I think. But you're afraid of that I'm honest about. I do not want to see that ever again. James, I get the need to win the argument, not suppress it, but wouldn't let them stand for Parliament, etc. Oh, come on. We have got we can take this somewhere, can't we? Doc will be on a week on Wednesday. We can carry on then, can't we, with the political talk? Shake it up, baby, now. That wasn't Neil or Joni, was it? It was the politics of the pandemic. And what was it you said? Darwinian survival of the fittest. I don't know. And it's not what he said, is it? He didn't say survival of the fittest. That was taken out of context, wasn't it? Isn't it the ability to adapt rather than just a straightforward, macho survival, I think. Adaptation, I think, is available to us all, is it not, in some way? Free to speak, but not bully, threaten, or be disrespectful. And I hope that's what we're all about here. As Churchill says, courage is the most important of human qualities because it guarantees all the others. And isn't it funny that I chose to share with you this morning from the market building of San Martino de Porto? Courage is a heart that can see. But maybe what we're saying here this morning is courage is also a heart that can speak. And I can't say that in Portuguese, unfortunately, but que falar, maybe. A nice day to take a trip to Carcavelos Beach. It's always a nice day to take a trip there, Trevor and Shannon. Have a lovely day. I've only ever watched Joe when he commented on the UFC. He can get a bit fixated on his own point of view. Anyone who likes being fixated on your own point of view should get a podcast. I know. Reg is here. Bon dia, todos em Fatima, Café na Sol, bonito. There you go. Bringing us back down to earth. beer in hand, Liverpool jersey on, sat in Fatima in the Cafe of Sunshine, having a beautiful day. That's what ultimately what it's all about, isn't it? When all the political dust has settled, here we are, enjoying a coffee in the sun. Fantastic, Reg. Thank you for that point of order. At some point, being honest and the freedom that it gives is much more compelling than the seeming benefits of dishonesty and hiding oneself. Thank you, Lonnie. Again. Oh, she's blown a hole in my... Caridad isn't courage. So charity is a heart that can see then. Well, that's that's messed it up. The phrase survival of the fittest is often incorrectly attributed to Darwin. In fact, it was coined by the philosopher Herbert Spencer in response to reading Origins of the Species 5 Years Later. You see, this is what happens, isn't it, when we shortcut everything and come down to 3-part phrases. That's a 4-part phrase, of course, but it was the beginning of 3-part phrases. Build back better, survival of the fittest, blah, 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 blah. Let's talk. Let's not just truncate everything to flipping condensed political slogans. If we couldn't wish for better proof than that. Thank you for that, Doug. Absolutamente. From Reg there. It's all about beer, coffee, and football, ultimately. Love Joni and Neil. Love freedom of speech the most, says Question Always. God bless you. Question always. Now, did I have any more photos to share? We've got this coming up. Thank you to Andy for this. The Vagos Metal Fest. If you metalheads, look at these bands. They're all over. I should be doing this either side of this, shouldn't I? 28th to 30th of July, 2022. Vagos, the Metal Fest. Look at those bands. Dimmu Borgir and Testament. And is that Crop Croc there? It's Spinal Tap. Think Spinal Tap. And you've got Vagos Metal Fest there for the 20th to the 30th of July of this year. Thank you very much. Get those messages into me, and many happy returns to Bart there, and a Bruce Springsteen inspired birthday cake. Many happy returns. I think the family had a great time celebrating. Thanks for that. Deagle, thank you so much. And Cindy B, here's a nice view of San Martino de Porto, photos that have been coming in. This is San Martino de Porto. I tend to take pictures of the big view. Here's another lovely part of San Martino de Porto. The dunes and the dune walk you can take, and another view of the neck of the beautiful and quiet, peaceful bay there here in San Martino de Porto. Thank you very much for that, Cindy B. And here we go. Fernando Pessoa, Tutto vale la pena, quando a alma now è pequena. So everything is worth it, I think, when you have a big soul. And it's all connected with honesty, authenticity, isn't it? And self-expression and being who you really are and sharing what you really believe in. Aren't those the themes that we've been talking about this morning against this political backdrop of the new results here in Portugal, and how we've discovered that I also mistranslated courage as charity. But then again, they're not too far removed from each other. And I'll tell you the story another day of how Mrs. M saved a bee inside this loja chinaise another time. But check out the works. If you're looking for inspiration, we've had some great names today. Pericles, Churchill, and of course, go to Fernando Pessoa, another great way to learn your Portuguese. I'll see you tomorrow with Michael from Serenity and lovely Diogo, who wants to teach you Portuguese whilst drinking Portuguese wine. What, as they say, could possibly go wrong? Take care and bye for now. I need to go, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks again to Gilda. Get well soon to Gilda and all the household there. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.